Hi, I'm Dr. Kentu, and today I'd like to share with you the key to prevention of food allergy. Do you have the following questions? Are you worried about ensuring a diverse diet for your infant? Are you struggling for the right way to introduce your baby to solid foods? And are you worried about food allergy and how to prevent it? Well, then this talk is for you. This is me. I'm an allergist immunologist. And every day in my clinical practice, I'm seeing many new children with the new diagnosis of food allergy. And so I became passionate to reach out to people like you on how to prevent food allergies. The first question is, should I worry about food allergy? These are the statistics from the United States of America. It's a food allergy epidemic. 33 million of Americans have food allergy. More than half of adults had a severe reaction. And about 40% of children with food allergies have had a severe reaction. How about here in Malaysia? In Malaysia, the food allergy prevalence in children less than 5 years old is about 5%. However, in certain high-risk groups where allergy is more prevalent, the prevalence can go up to 10%, which is 1 out of 10 child in Malaysia will have food allergy. These are the headlines that we see. And this is from Singapore. We can never be complacent. Parents of children with allergies battle anxiety and low awareness. And we see headlines of fatalities that occur after accidental ingestion of a food allergen. And this is a very common concern by parents that we see every day in clinical practice. This is a child with eczema that is not getting better. And the parents have concern that food allergy is contributing towards the eczema. And as a result, food elimination has been done without much success. And then the question becomes, what allergy tests should I do? And this was an article from November 2022, which states that fears about food allergies are leading parents to cut major food groups from their children's menus and causing people to follow unnecessarily restrictive diets. It may seem surprising in advanced societies, but these are leading to cases of malnutrition, which is particularly risky for children. This is sad, but it's true. The result from inappropriate testing. We have food allergies being unnecessarily and inaccurately diagnosed, leading to malnutrition. This is a case from inappropriate testing with inappropriate food avoidance leading to malnutrition. Thankfully, with proper diagnosis and medical care, the child has recovered and is doing well. The reality is that food allergy causes decreased quality of life. And these are the 8 major food allergens that we see: milk, fish, tree nuts, peanuts, soybeans, wheat, shellfish, and eggs. And they are normally consumed foods that form major nutritional importance in our diet. Food is meant to be enjoyed. This is the national dish of Malaysia. Imagine if you have a person with food allergy. How many food allergens can you identify here? We have egg, we have peanut, we have fish, and we have shellfish here, which is this delicious looking prawn. And hidden within this spicy sambal may be other hidden allergens that may not be declared. And so, instead of enjoying the food, the child over here that has been exposed to the food allergen has developed a severe allergic reaction. And you can see here swelling of the lips and on the eyes, which we call angioedema. Is there a clue to tell you that there is a major risk factor to the development of food allergy? And yes, there is. and it's called atopic dermatitis. Atopic dermatitis is a clinical diagnosis, and it is a rash that you can see here on the cheeks and around the mouth. And it is very, very itchy. You can see here this child is clearly scratching at its body. And you can see here the rash has involved other parts of its torso. Here in the Klang Valley, Malaysia, 1 out of 5 children are currently affected with atopic dermatitis. And atopic dermatitis is the first step of the atopic march. And what is this atopic march? It starts with atopic dermatitis and is closely linked with food allergy. And these children then further develop allergic rhinitis later in life, and a subset of them will then develop asthma. The issue with atopic dermatitis and the atopic march and food allergy is that it is a complex interplay. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg question. We first have eczema, which can lead to food sensitization through the skin and the development of food allergy. The food allergy can cause reactions that cause skin inflammation and worsening of the eczema, which then causes a vicious feedback. The question now is, how do we prevent food allergy from developing? These are the past recommendations. This was published in 2003 in the Journal of Pediatrics. And you can see all these old things here, the rotary telephone, old desktop computers, and the recommendations at that time to avoidance to prevent food allergy. Did it work? Avoidance strategy did not work because before the advice to avoid, these are the percentage of food allergy in children. And after the advice to avoid, it has gotten higher. Why food avoidance strategy will not work for food allergy prevention is because of this. We found that food exposure through inflamed skin that we see in atopic dermatitis will lead to the development of food sensitization and food allergy, as opposed to the oral route, where oral tolerance is induced. So, how to actually prevent food allergy? These are results from the LEAP study that shook the allergy world. It was published in the New England Journal of Medicine 2015. And what this study looked at was in children with eczema. They were put into 2 groups, one in the consumption group and one in the avoidance group. And you can see here in the per protocol analysis, in the skin prick test negative cohort, that means that there is no sensitization to peanut. The consumption group, pretty much 0.4% development of peanut allergy. In the skin prick test positive cohort, that means there's already sensitization that has occurred to peanut. And in the consumption group, despite being sensitized, the child is being fed peanuts. Pretty much 0% development of food allergy to peanuts. And so if you take both cohorts together, the total numbers here is 0.3% development of peanut allergy in the consumption group versus the group that avoided peanuts, that followed the old outdated practice of peanut avoidance. 17.3% of them developed peanut allergy. This is a newer study that was also published in the New England Journal of Medicine 2016. It's called the EATS study. And this looked at food allergy prevention with multiple food allergens. And they found that early introduction of multiple food allergens reduced food allergy development in those who strictly follow the protocol. And you can see here this versus the standard introduction in the past versus the new recommended early introduction, there was a 67% decrease in the development of food allergy. However, the protocol was quite intense. The protocol required that you consume at least 5 of the early introduction foods for at least 5 weeks, between 3 and 6 months of age, and at least 75% of the recommended dose, which is 3 grams per week of allergenic protein. If you have kids, this is probably a very familiar situation to you. And this is the problem: picky eaters. You can see here multiple strategies to address picky eaters, ideas on how to hide the food, healthy food for toddlers, healthy food for infant food introduction to encourage the child to take the foods. However, things aren't so easy. These are what the caretakers experience in the EAT study: utter frustration. The rates of adherence to the introduction protocol were low, only 43%. This is because the mothers or caretakers need something convenient. As an allergist immunologist who is interested in food allergy prevention, I became involved as a medical advisor in the development of this product called Semua Food Powder Mix. It's a food nutrition supplement that has added prebiotics, convenient to use, and is quite tasty. So it works for picky eaters. So Semua is a complete and convenient way to prevent food allergy. It contains all the major food allergens, including milk, egg, fish, sesame, shellfish, peanut, soy, gluten, oat, and grains. So, can we take wisdom from the past for food allergy prevention? What we're seeing here is a traditional practice of infant feeding that promotes food diversity. What we're seeing here is that members of the family are seated at the dining table. And you can see here the children are on the laps of the caretakers. And they're clearly interested in the foods. And you can see numerous foods that are being offered, they are being eaten, and also introduced in a multiple food introduction pattern, which then leads to food diversity. Can we copy the traditional method of food diversity feeding in what we call a food allergen mix? And this is a study that looked at 180 infants less than 12 months of age that were given mixed food allergens in a sachet. And we can see here, in comparison to introduction of individual foods, where the food mixture were given either in high, medium, or low dose, you can see here the early introduction of food allergens, especially the mixtures of many food allergens, may prevent food allergies. And this was published in Nutrients in 2022. And we can see here the mixed food group has elevated levels of what we call protective IgG4. And you can see here in this group where mixed food introduction was given as opposed to singular foods. What this suggests is that mixed food introduction actually promotes elevated IgG4 production, which is actually a marker for food tolerance. So is food diversity important? This is a very important paper that was published in JACI in 2014. And what they looked at was food diversity and the development of allergic diseases. You can see here with increasing food diversity scores, there is a decreased incidence of asthma. And we can see here as well with increasing food diversity scores, a decreasing incidence of food allergy. And so the conclusion from this paper was that an increased diversity of food within the first year of life may have a protective effect on asthma, food allergy, and food sensitization, and is associated with increased expression of a marker for regulatory T cells. And regulatory T cells is an important marker for the development of immune tolerance. With the new medical information being published, the media has taken up the task of educating the public. We can see here CNN, New York Times, and Time showing that the new medical guidelines recommend early introduction of allergenic foods to prevent food allergy. We can see here the early allergen introduction guidelines, the evolution. In March 2019, the Academy of Pediatrics recommend peanut introduction 4 months and above. Then in November 2020, the Quad AI guidelines recommended the introduction of peanut and egg 4 months and above. And now the latest guidelines by the USDA in December 2020, 4 months and above, introduction of peanut, egg, milk, and more, the top 8 allergens. You may ask yourself, what is the value in food allergy prevention? First of all, having a healthy child is priceless. However, having a child with food allergy will incur additional medical costs. This is an information that was published in 2018, and this is what was measured. Per year, direct medical costs of childhood food allergy in the USA. The total direct medical cost per child is $724 US. On top of it, there's also out-of-pocket costs of childhood food allergy in the USA, such as epinephrine injectors, overnight stays at the hospital, special summer camp, other out-of-pocket expenses such as cleaning supplies, transportation. The total amounts up to $1,252 US. I want to share a little bit about the true cost of raising a child in Malaysia. This is the birthing and confinement costs, comparing the government hospital, which is public health care, versus a private hospital. And you can see here prenatal checkups, normal delivery versus cesarean delivery, and a confinement lady. And you can see here in the government public hospitals, the cost can be around 5,000 to 7,000 ringgit. And if you were going through the private health care, it will be 8,200 to about 19,500 ringgit. This is a slide showing the childcare costs for a baby for the first 12 months. And you can see here the two different numbers here, 37,900 to 19,900. The difference essentially is whether you employ a childcare babysitter. This is the estimated medical cost in Malaysia if you have a child with food allergy. A typical consultation, one-time new case, is about 230 ringgit. Allergy testing may be up to 600, medications 200. The most important pricing here is EpiPen. It's a price at around 700 ringgit per year. And if you were to buy EpiPen at current prices for the next 18 years until the child reach adult, it will cost about 12,600 ringgit, which leads to a total of 13,630 ringgit if you have a child who has food allergy. So therefore, it is important to prevent food allergy. So what is the best medical evidence out there? First, and most important, is that you should introduce allergenic foods early, right around 4 to 6 months of age, when you are starting to introduce solid foods as part of the complementary food introduction. And you also want to maintain eating these allergenic foods consistently. This is not a one-time introduction and that's it. You want to eat this consistently so that the immune system can learn to develop tolerance and acceptance of the allergenic foods. We have shown that diverse food introduction as a traditional feeding method does help prevent food allergy development. We also found that through the studies that I've shown you just now, that food diversity helps with allergy prevention in general. And this is because we found that there is increased production of regulatory T cells. And regulatory T cells are one of the key cells that are important for immune tolerance. And so with all this medical information out there, I became the medical advisor to help develop Semua food powder mix for allergy prevention. If you look at the studies out there, namely EAT, PETITE, and LEAP, using early introduction of allergenic foods has given a success rate about 70 to 90% in terms of food allergy prevention. And these are very, very good numbers and statistics, and helps us to recommend early food introduction to prevent food allergy. So when do you introduce Semua for food allergy prevention? Studies have shown that pregnant mothers should not practice any food avoidance to prevent food allergy. And so the mother can consume 1 sachet daily during pregnancy. Studies have also shown that while breastfeeding, the mother should not practice any food avoidance. And so the mother, while breastfeeding, can consume 1 sachet of Semua daily. And the most important part is when the child is around 4 to 6 months of age and introduction of solid foods has begun as part of the complementary feeding process. You can start first with a sprinkling of Semua during each solid food feeding. Then every week you can slowly increase. At first you can use half a teaspoon of Semua, followed by 1 teaspoon of Semua, followed by an entire sachet. And you want to continue using Semua daily as part of the food complementary introduction feeding until the child is eating all foods normally. Remember, I said that we should be consistent in introducing these allergenic foods and to eat them consistently to prevent food allergy. Despite all that I've said, caretakers may be afraid to introduce Semua. I'm here to remove that fear. Notice that when we start introducing foods to our little ones, we start with about 1 teaspoon of amount. We have to understand that 1 teaspoon is equivalent to 5 grams of food. And Semua actually weighs 2.5 grams per sachet, which is equivalent to half a teaspoon of food. And now you have to understand that there are 10 allergens that are found in Semua. If you divide 2.5 grams by 10, each allergen only consists of 0.25 grams. So Semua is very safe for introduction as part of the complementary feeding of your child. It's also designed to prevent food allergy. However, it's very important to know that consistency is key. You want to introduce the Semua and you want to use it consistently until the child is eating all the allergenic foods without any issues. Introducing using Semua also gives you the confidence that the child is already tolerating all of the allergenic foods when the child is eating 1 sachet of Semua a day. So to summarize, Semua is a food nutrition supplement. It is suitable for picky eaters as it is tasty and designed for difficult picky palates. It's also very convenient for busy parents, and it serves as a convenient transition to solid foods. You have to understand that food diversity aids with palate development and also aids in food allergy prevention. Semua is also added with prebiotics for gut microbiome health. You may have tasted Semua and noticed that it is sweet. Understand that the sweetness are not due to sugars. It is actually prebiotics that feeds the gut's bacteria, promoting bacterial diversity, and healthy microbiome in the gut. Finally, Semua is also halal certified. You may think that halal certification is for religious purposes. On the contrary, halal certification ensures quality, as halal certification requires that each individual ingredient has traceability and is manufactured under strict conditions. This assures quality of the product that you are receiving. However, Semua does have its limitations. Currently, it only comes in a sachet powder format. Caretakers may be looking for cookies or a puree form, but unfortunately, it's only available in sachet powders, individual serving at 2.5 grams at this moment. Semua is mainly available online at immunevital.com and certain pharmacies. So you may not be able to find them at your local grocery stores or at your local pharmacies. Please, if you find that you need Semua, do reach out to the pharmacy or to your doctor who may be able to stock Semua for you. Finally, Semua is designed for food allergy prevention. If there is a diagnosis of food allergy, you should seek medical treatment and not use Semua without proper medical supervision. In conclusion, I'd like to share with you this slide. Children are 20% of our population and 100% of our future. And that's why, as an allergist immunologist, I took on the task of being an advisor to the development of Semua, as I believe our children should deserve a future free of food allergies and they can stay healthy. I hope this talk has been helpful. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Take care.